I'd like to open up our city council meeting for Monday, April 16th, 2018. I ask that we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Gass?
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, as we come tonight, we're grateful for this time of gathering. We thank you for the discussions. We thank you for all who are present, and that you were so pleasant to the aldermen and all of those who are present, that we take care of the business of the city. And we were so careful to give you all the glory and praise. We ask it now in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. We have a roll call.
Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Present.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham.
Present.
Alderman Runnels.
Here.
Alderman January.
Okay, we have two items on the agenda. One is from our Lake County Board, and we have Commissioner Vance Wyatt here today and for a presentation. So,
Good evening, City Council. Sorry that Commissioner Cunningham is not unable to come to that tonight. She is actually in the hospital right now. She is sick since last Wednesday. I'm here to actually present a check for the City of North Chicago in the amount of $32,950, and this is from Lake County CDBG Fund.
thank you. I want to get up here. Thank you so much. Appreciate it again. And I just want to say on behalf of the Lake County Board, we thank you for all that you do. I know that Ryan and Commissioner Cunningham does an excellent job for all that you do in support of the city of North Chicago. We thank you for that, and then we ask that you continue to keep up the good work and keep bringing the checks in. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much. And next on the agenda is we have a resolution presented to the Deutsch family. And I'll ask that our city clerk please read the resolution, but I'd ask that the family would please come forward. As we all know that before the clerk reads the resolution, you know, Dana was a integral part of our city in regards to the animal warden, and she did an excellent job. You know, let me just say that, you know, we have a disease that we continue to work towards to try to eliminate, and that's cancer. We lose so many because of that. They're working very hard to try to eliminate it, but until that time, we, as we say, suffer because, again, we lose those that we love because of that. So Dana was, again, with her help in the city, with our animals. And I have stated this many times. During that time of the city, when we were in turmoil, because this council was full of heat up because of what was going on at city council, Dana stepped in and changed the whole dynamics of our city in regards to a no-kill community. It was through her hard work and dedication that we became a no-kill community, and other communities now are looking up and trying to mirror what we have done here in our community. So we thank Dana for all that she has. City Clerk, I ask that you read the resolution on behalf of Dana Deutsch.
Resolution honoring Dana K. Deutsch. Whereas Dana K. Deutsch proudly served the citizens in the city of North Chicago as the animal control officer from February 17, 2014 until March 15, 2018. And whereas Dana has spent most of her life passionately serving others, first as a volunteer firefighter for the Houston Fire Department, a firefighter with the Village Fire Department near Houston, Texas, and as an animal control officer for the City of North Chicago. And whereas Dana showed unconditional passion for the care of animals, both as a person and animal control officer with the City of North Chicago. And whereas Dana developed the excellent reputation currently enjoyed by the Animal Control Program in the City of North Chicago. And whereas Dana volunteered with countless hours for the well-being of animals and participated in rescue missions after both Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Harvey through Operation Bring Animals Home. And whereas Dana's compassion and heartfelt love for animals has filtered to the police and fire departments as well as the citizens in the City of North Chicago. And whereas Dana's absence has created a deep felt sorrow in the hearts of her friends, residents, and co-workers alike. Therefore, let it be resolved that the mayor, council, and citizens of North Chicago express their sincere appreciation to Dana K. Deutsch as well as her family. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to the family of Dana K. Deutsch, and it will also be recorded in the permanent files in the City of North Chicago.
Congratulations. Did you want to say anything?
Well, I'll try not to cry. I just want to tell you how much it's meant to my family and myself, the embracing that we've had with the City of North Chicago. My sister was passionate about the City of North Chicago. I tried to get her home so many times, especially when she was diagnosed, because I was like, Houston is the place that, you can get the best care. She would not leave her post at North Chicago. And so y'all have been wonderful. You check on me. I'm part of the family. My family's part of the family, and just thank you. And now this town is part of my heart too.
Thank you. I entertain a motion that we accept the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman January, second by Alderman Markham, that the resolution be passed as presented. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations again. Thank you. Thank you for all of our services. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion that we suspend our regular order of business to go back into committee.
So moved. Second.
To move by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Markham, that we suspend the regular order of business to go back into our committee meetings. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, meeting from the preceding meeting. Oh, minutes.
Minutes.
Did I say meeting? Minutes from the preceding. It's 10 o'clock at night.
Mayor Rockingham,
Alderman Evans.
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes, 5-1 minutes of our regular council meeting, April 2nd to 2018.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Markham, that the minutes from the preceding meeting be passed as presented. Are there questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Omnibus vote agenda.
Mayor Rockingham,
Alderman Evans.
I would like to approve the omnibus vote agenda to be presented as is.
Second.
Been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Markham, that the omnibus vote agenda be passed as presented. Are there questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Regular agenda, 7-1, consideration approval, resolution renaming 14th Street from Green Bay Road east to Sheridan Road to Audrey Nixon Boulevard.
Mayor Rockingham,
Alderman Evans.
with the recommendation of the Public Works Committee meeting and staff, I would like to present a motion to adopt a resolution 2018 which calls for 14th Street from Green Bay Road east to Sheridan Road to become known as Audrey Nixon Boulevard, and upon the completion of similar actions by other jurisdictional agencies for the same renaming, that the proper notice be provided to all travelers, residents, and businesses and other jurisdictional authorities and agencies of said name change as is.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Markham, that 7-1 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call?
Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Alderman January.
Motion carried. I'm sorry, but let the record show that Alderman Fisher and Alderman Allen did call in and said they would not be able to attend. They will be out of town. So, 7-2, consideration and approval of professional service proposal received from Trotter and Associates regarding the development of a master plan for the city water treatment plant and water distribution system.
Mayor Rockingham.
Alderman Evans.
With the recommendation of the Public Works Committee and staff, I would like to present a motion to authorize the mayor to finalize and sign a professional services agreement with Trotter and Associates, Inc. of St. Charles, Illinois, to provide professional services associated with the development of a water plant and distribution system master plan as detailed in work order 1718 through 2121, and an amount not to exceed $227,625.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman January, that 7-2 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call.
Alderman oh, wait, let me start over. Sorry.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Sorry, let me go back. Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Alderman January. Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carried. 7-3, consideration and approval of proposal from Northern Divers USA Incorporated of Spring Grove, Illinois, to hydraulically clean both raw water intake lines and wet wells at the water treatment plant.
Move to postpone.
Second.
There's a motion to postpone and a second.
Or till till Monday, May 7th, 2018.
There's a motion to postpone. Is there any questions?
Postpone for what reason?
This is the one with the contract.
I know, but we said we was gonna move on it. It said that he was gonna write up the contract, remember? This was for AbbVie.
I think, our city attorney, can you make that adjustments?
If the council gives us direction, we certainly can write up a contract in the best interest of the city that will protect you and make sure the payment terms are consistent with state law.
But
So
there's-
I don't have a problem doing it, subject to council's direction.
There's no amount on here.
It's
It's,
$268,000.
I was gonna read the amount. The amount's on here.
the proposal is incorporated by reference in the motion, and the proposal contains the amount of the contract.
But when we discussed it here, it was, from my understanding, we don't have the contract, it has to be written up. So we're voting on something we don't have.
You're voting to direct us to write up the contract for an amount not to exceed the amount described in the proposal that was presented to you during the committee meeting.
Well, we gotta vote on the postpone first.
There is a motion pending on the floor.
There's a motion pending to
Postpone.
postpone
To May 7th.
till May 7th. Any questions? Roll call.
Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
No.
Alderman January. Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
No.
Alderman Evans.
No.
Alderman Allen.
Motion failed.
So we have the original motion.
That's the original motion.
Yes. Now, is there a motion to proceed?
I'll make a motion, Mayor Rockham, with the recommendation of the Public Works Committee and staff, I would like to present a motion to authorize the mayor to finalize and sign a proposal provided by Northern Divers, Inc. of Spring Grove, Illinois, for the cleaning of both lake water intake lines and the raw water well at the water treatment plant in the amount of $268,400, and that bidding requirements be waived due to the urgency of this cleaning to meet the needs expressed by the water customer.
Second.
Can you also add to have the attorney draft the contract?
Oh, and we would like for the attorney to draft the contract on April 17, 2018.
I second the motion.
Been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Reynolds, that 7-3 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call?
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January.
No.
Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham.
No.
Motion carried. 7-4, consideration / approval of proposal received from Solution Mechanicals Incorporated of Oswego, Illinois, to add recommended equipment to both boilers at the water treatment plant and waive competitive bids.
Mayor Rockham,
Alderman Evans.
with the recommendation of the Public Works Committee and staff, I would like to present a motion to authorize the mayor to finalize and sign a proposal provided by Solutions Mechanical of Oswego, Illinois, for the replacement and installation of new air scrubbers on the boilers at the water treatment plant in the amount of $23,587, and that bidding requirements be waived for this procurement due to the existing boiler warranties.
Second.
The move by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Markham, that 7-4 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call?
Alderman January. Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Motion carried. 7-5, consideration and approval to award a contract to BP&T Incorporated of Mount Prospect, Illinois, for 2018 hydrant painting services.
Mayor Rockham,
Alderman Evans.
I would like to present a motion to authorize the mayor to finalize and sign a proposal provided by BP&T Company of Mount Prospect, Illinois, as the low bidder for the painting of up to 250 fire hydrants at various locations throughout the city at the cost of $59.82 each.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Mayfield, that 7-5 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Alderman January.
The stated, request for approval, stated proposal, not contract. Two different things. And the agenda says contract. So which are we approving? Proposal or contract?
It's a contract, correct?
Yes, it's a contract.
A proposal becomes a contract when you sign it. So we're kind of one and the same.
It needs to be stated exactly as it's stated on the agenda.
Can you correct your motion to show
Yes.
contract
Okay.
and your second?
I would like to present a motion to authorize the mayor to finalize and sign a contract provided by BP&T Company of Mount Prospect, Illinois, as the low bidder for the painting of up to 250 fire hydrants at various locations throughout the city at the cost of $59.82 each.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Evans, second by Alderman Mayfield, that 7-5 be passed as presented. Are there questions?
Now, we do have to ask a question, because
Alderman Evans?
she does have a good point. If, Mayor, because I saw these different changes tonight on these things, can we make sure that it's matching? You know, she does have a good point. If Ed, with this stuff, if it could be matching prior to the meeting. We just, because, I mean, we want it to be stated right, and Alderman, January is correct.
Sure, so understand the clerk's office ultimately crafts what you have on the agenda.
Okay,
So we provide recommended verbiage to the clerk's office. How it ends up,
What item was that?
I don't always see it,
7-5.
so you all see it as it's released.
Okay, well,
We'll,
maybe you guys, you guys have to sit down there. All righty.
It does,
That's it.
it says proposal on the request.
It is a proposal on some council action.
Okay, so, what we may have to do is, instead of calling it a contract in the future, if it's not finalized or whatever, and it's saying one thing, we cannot sit up here and
we'll make sure that we'll try to match
okay,
it.
that's the only
Whatever one
request.
says, the other one should say the same thing
Exactly.
in the motion.
We write them verbatim based on the request, for a certain, you know.
Okay,
Motion to pull 7-6.
did we do a roll call already? I can't
No.
remember.
No.
Roll call.
Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham. Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Alderman January. Alderman Fisher.
Motion carried. 7-6 has been pulled. I'd like to have a motion to show that it should be removed from the agenda.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Been moved by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman January, that 7-6 be removed from the agenda. Are there questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. 7-7, consideration and approval of audit issued by Miller, Cooper and Company.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Reynolds.
I move to approve 7-7 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Markham, that 7-7 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call.
Alderman Evans.
Aye.
Alderman Allen. Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Runnels.
Aye.
Alderman January. Alderman Fisher. Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Motion carried. 7-8, consideration and approval of Little Mines Learning Center ordinance development agreement, plat of subdivision, special use permit.
Mayor,
Yes.
we are not approving a plat of subdivision tonight.
Okay.
The other two things are being approved.
Okay. So can I get a motion to, for 7-8 for Little Mines Learning Center?
I make a motion to remove 7-8.
No.
No,
What did you-
just the plat of subdivision is gonna
Oh,
be
just the
removed.
plat of third?
Move to,
I second it.
Alderman
He didn't move
Markham.
it yet.
no,
He didn't move it.
because a word has to be added also, resolution/ordinance.
It is a resolution to approve a development agreement. The development agreement is specifically mentioned on the agenda.
Okay,
The ordinance grants a special use permit.
so you don't have to have that.
No. As long as we mention the development agreement on the agenda, we will make it work. But we are not approving a plat of subdivision,
All right,
not tonight.
All right.
move to amend then, right? Did somebody make the motion?
One
I don't think the motion has been made yet.
Okay.
one point of clarification, the ordinance that was provided included, the ordinance that was provided in your packet is an ordinance approving a special use permit and preliminary plat of subdivision. This is what was prepared.
I thought we were holding the plat of subdivision.
We're holding the final plats.
Final plat,
Final plat, we're asking council's.
or preliminary plat.
Preliminary, correct.
Okay, so to clarify, we're doing preliminary plat of subdivision, not final plat of subdivision.
That is correct.
Okay. And there has not been a motion made yet.
Nope.
Okay. Right?
So move,
There was a motion, but it included the plat of
So,
subdivision.
to,
So
cl-
now-
to
Let's make it
clarify
clear.
what's on the agenda, we are approving a development agreement and an ordinance granting a special use permit and a preliminary plat of subdivision.
Correct, and we need to approve the development agreement first.
So
Mr.
can we have a-
Mayor,
Alderman Markham.
all right, Mr. Mayor, I move for the consideration and approval of Little Minds Learning Center ordinance, development agreement, plat of subdivision, special use permit.
A preliminary plat.
Preliminary.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Alderman Markham, second by Alderman Evans, that 7-8 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Alderman January.
Yes, can you just, Victor, can you refresh our memory? The, special use permit and the preliminary plat of subdivision, didn't that change one of our current ordinances? They wanted us to do something that was
They
in one of
can't-
our current ordinances that is not,
So that's in the development agreement.
that's in the development agreement?
So there was a question as to when the developer would be obligated to extend the road that's adjacent to their property.
Under our ordinance.
Right.
correct?
Under our ordinance, they would normally be required to extend the road all the way to the southern end of their property. We are requiring them to extend the road and extend public improvements to the southern end of that part of their property, which is going to be developed right now. When the second half of their property is going to be developed, the developer will be responsible for that when that occurs.
Okay, but how would that affect, if we do this, how would that affect the future, any other developers coming in and that particular ordinance where they have to extend? Because I feel like this, if we do it for one, we're gonna have to do it for all. And I'm a little worried about that, because we have this little tendency of doing it for one and then we have, you know, so we come back and say, oh, no, you can't do it, and then we get sued. So I just want to make sure that we're clear that this is changing one of our current ordinances.
So each application can be evaluated on its own. This is not going to require you to treat the next developer the same way. This was discussed specifically when we reviewed this at a recent meeting, and the direction that we received was to require the developer to comply with the code for that portion of the property that's going to be currently developed, and to save the remainder until when the remainder is developed.
And did we put in the development agreement then, how long before they have to finish that second phase of their development on their property?
I don't believe there's a specific deadline, because we don't know when it'll be developed.
Okay.
There-
I just wanted to refresh
There
memories
are,
as to
there are
what's going on
trigger
with this.
mechanisms in the agreement that talks about either, one, the development of Lot 2 would be the time when those public improvements were completed, and two, 5 years, whichever came first.
So 5 years is the
Payment.
absolute
We would
deadline.
ask for payment for those improvements.
I think that's a long time to wait, 5 years? All right, well, no, thank you, that just clarified my issues.
Are there any other questions?
Okay,
Got it?
yeah.
Okay. Roll call.
Alderman Markham,
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January,
No,
Alderman Fisher, Alderman Mayfield,
aye.
Alderman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Allen.
Motion carried. Keep waiting for him to say aye.
You're right, me too, that's what
7-9, consideration approval of Lake County Task Force Resolution.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Mayfield.
I move for the approval of the Lake County Task Force Resolution as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Mayfield, second by Alderman Evans, that 7-9 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Alderman January. Alderman Fisher, Alderman Mayfield,
Aye.
Alderman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Allen, Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Motion carried. 7-10, consideration and approval to ratify IAFF, International Association of Firefighters, Contract Local 3271, term from May 1st, 2018 through April 30th, 2023.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Mayfield.
I move for the approval of ratified IAFF International Association of Firefighters, Contract Local 3271, with the term being May 1st, 2018 to April 30th, 2023, as
Second.
presented.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Mayfield, second by Alderman Reynolds, that 7-10 be passed as presented. Are there questions? Roll call?
Alderman January,
Aye.
Alderman Fisher, Alderman Mayfield,
Aye.
Alderman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Allen, Alderman Markham,
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
Motion carried. City bills,
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Reynolds.
I move to pay the city bills, the sum total, $391,467.34.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman
Second.
Reynolds, that second by Alderman Mayfield, that the city bills be paid as presented. Are there questions? Alderman January.
Are there funds available and when will the checks be cut?
Funds are available, checks will be cut probably Wednesday and mailed out.
Okay, and then also, as of today, what is the balance in the water fund, please?
$2,402,991.87.
And that next amount is
Should
coming out,
be done within the next 10 days.
and that was again, I'm sorry, the amount.
$659,000.
Okay, and that'll be done by the end of this month.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call?
Alderman, excuse me, Alderman Evans,
Aye.
Alderman Allen, I'm sorry, Alderman Markham.
Aye.
Alderman Reynolds,
Aye.
Alderman January,
No.
Alderman Fisher, Alderman Mayfield.
Aye.
Motion carried. Miscellaneous business. Anything under miscellaneous?
Mr.
Alderman
Mayor.
Markham?
Yeah, I just had one question. In our last meeting, when there was citizens' comments, resident got up and asked a question, and I feel that people went out of their way to answer it. And I feel there needs to be a even balance, that when people ask questions, either we're not gonna answer them or we're not gonna answer them.
I think that's my prerogative to answer or not.
Well, it's unfair, because if a person gets up and asks a question, and just because they live in a certain area, they shouldn't be given,
It has no bearing on whether I answer
yes,
the
sir,
question.
it did.
Well, that's your opinion. but
Yes, sir.
Okay. But it wasn't.
It's-
Anything else? All right. First, I'd like to thank those that was out today for the leadership training. I think it was a day well spent. I think that it, with the staff and those elected officials that came out, it was a very positive. I think we've got a lot accomplished. And I think that we are trying to move in a direction that I think is good for the city. One of the things that we talked about was trying to do a strategic plan for the city. I know we've moved on this on several occasions, and I'd like to see if we can get this accomplished again with those efforts. With that, I'd like to appoint a committee to move forward with this. And I ask that Alderman Markham would be the chair, Alderman Mayfield would co-chair, and Alderman Reynolds would be the member. So that is the direction at this particular time that we will be going, and hopefully we'll try to get this in place as time permits. So again, I think that a strategic plan is necessary. It continues to give direction, not only to our staff, but it also gives direction to our residents of the city of North Chicago in regards to where we continue to move forward at. So we will continue to move in that direction. Citizens' comments.
Arthur Gass. Gone. He left, right? Charles January Jr.
City Council, Charles January, I'll be brief. First of all, Alderman Markham, Alderman January, my wife, and Alderman Evans, I appreciate what you said tonight, but again, we have no leadership in this town. It's unfortunate that we sit here, our police and fire department, 18% and 24% funded, when we have Harvey that just shut half their police and fire department, and I'm praying that our pension fund doesn't decide to ask for their money. Because if they ask for their money, in the city of North Chicago, we owe $100 million. That's a lot of money. Alderman Markham, keep up the good work. Alderman Evans, you chimed in, I appreciate that, but if you're not cutting the salaries in the city, what are you guys doing? $9,500 is nothing to what you're paying out. And I'm not just talking about the $100,000 salaries in North Chicago. We have some people in here making $80,000. There's no way they should be making $80,000 based on our city. But again, we don't do things Jermaine way, and we got a mayor that sits up here, that's been up here, and it doesn't matter the time he's been up here, there is no strategic plan. And I'm with the point of Alderman that he's been mayor more than 2 terms. That makes no sense. But again, city council, what happens is, when you have a mayor and a government that's doing nothing to promote for the people, and when you put the people last, as he's done, Walt Keegan changed that. The citizens are first. And I'll say this again, clerk, and I know she's looked it up, when you have 1-2 meetings a month, if you have a committee meeting first, each committee, the citizens have a right to speak. I went to Chicago and checked it, but again, we're home rule, so we don't have to abide by that. But it's really bad that you have citizens that have to wait until the end. And when you guys are promoting money, there should be something eligible to be read by the citizens. You don't have that. So what that tells me is you're making things done in the vacuum. I don't know what the contract for the fire department could be great. It's not out here. You guys ratified it. That doesn't make any sense. But I'm gonna start, I didn't want to bring, I threatened to bring the television program back. That's coming back, because I just have to bring it up. And it doesn't make sense. What you said up here and heard what your attorney said tonight, he only makes recommendations. City council, if you want to vote on something to stop that project over on 14th Street, you have the right to vote on that. He can say, no, city council shouldn't do that, but you do have the right. And if you buy the chance, if you did that, that will send a message to Lake County saying, North Chicago doesn't want to keep that going. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, I will say it was 4 terms I've been mayor. Well, I'm answering.
Eddie Harris. Hood. And that's it.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Mayfield. City Council stand adjourned. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Yes. Uh-oh. What?